What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming at y'all with our first week 4 preview, man. The storylines were kind of, all over the place leading into this game week. So I figured we had a lot of great games to preview. So why not go ahead and bump it up to a Tuesday, drop in, believe 2 previews today. And we're going to start it off here with number 12, Notre Dame, taking on the number 18, Wisconsin Badgers in Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois, man. And I am so pumped for this game. And, Soldier Field's usually known for, historic, great NFL matchups in the past, but it's going to be host to a huge top 20 matchup for Fox's big noon kickoff game. So it's 12 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central time, coming on this Saturday. But this is an interesting matchup because these schools, shockingly, have not faced each other since 1964. That year, the Irish came away with a 31-7 win, and the Fighting Irish control the series right now with 8 wins, only 6 losses to Wisconsin. They had 2 ties in their series as well. But the storylines are there, man. The Fighting Irish are looking to improve to 4-0, and this serves as a revenge game for quarterback Jack Cohen, who transferred to Notre Dame from Wisconsin after last season. And emotions are probably going to be running high, and Notre Dame understands they have a lot to prove to a lot of people around the country, because a lot of people are questioning how good this team is, especially after Florida State has absolutely fell off. I don't believe they've won a game since they faced Notre Dame. They lost to Jacksonville State and just got blown out by Wake Forest this weekend. So there's going to be a lot to prove for Brian Kelly and this Fighting Irish squad. Now, the Badgers, on the other hand, coming off a bye week, I hate early season bye weeks. When you have a game like this, it is actually pretty helpful to have a bye week. They're looking to find a way to get above 500. They're 1-1 right now, and they're looking to add a huge rank win to their resume after falling in a 6-point loss to Penn State in week 1. That loss is looking better and better. Penn State just keeps racking up the wins, had a big win this weekend against Auburn, and so now that win is a top 7-8 win for Wisconsin right now. So that's still a great loss as we're looking at it right now. But the defense has to step up. The defense is going to carry this team, the running game. So we're going to find out exactly what the Badgers have against another talented team early on in the schedule. So let's get into the keys for the game, man. And we're going to start with Notre Dame. And it's easy. Both of these teams are going to have similar keys, but for different reasons. But for the Fighting Irish, it's got to be established a running game, because Wisconsin aims to make teams one-dimensional, and you have to set up the play-action game for Jack Cohen this weekend. That's going to be the best way to promote his success against a very, very tough matchup in this Badgers defense. You look at Kyron Williams. He might not be having as much success as he was last season when he absolutely exploded onto the scene, but he still has been a formidable running back. And if he gets the opportunities, if the offensive line can improve their play just a little bit and pave some holes, he is able to gash any defense, create some explosive plays. We saw it last year against Clemson. We really saw it all the way throughout the year. So Kyron Williams is going to be a key here. 211 yards rushing, averaging almost 5 yards per carry, and already has 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground thus far. But when I was kind of looking at some of the advanced analytics on how they run the ball, they have to be better running to the outside. Running off the tackles, off the edge spots has really been a problem for Notre Dame. They've really struggled to control the line of scrimmage at the tackle spots. Only 37 yards rushing total, and they're averaging less than 2.5 yards per carry off the edge. You can't be one-dimensional just running up the middle. You're going to have to try to find some space sideline to sideline. And so opening some holes and sealing that edge and controlling the line of scrimmage on the outside is so important for Notre Dame this weekend to give a bit more versatility to their running game. Mix some zone in there, mix some power. I want to see them kind of expand their repertoire, because they have the running back in Kyron Williams to go out and get some plays for you. Now, the solid part, though, is Williams has been dominant running behind the 2 guards. Going behind the guards, he's averaging over 8 yards per carry and 120 total yards this year. So that's been his bread and butter, is running right off that like B gap. If they can control that again too, that's going to cause some problems for those Wisconsin linebackers, and they're going to have to step in the hole and make a play consistently. Because if Kyron Williams breaks a tackle, you're going to be in for a long day if he can start getting to that second, third level of this defense. Now, Jack Cohen, for me, has performed better than I thought he was thus far this year, especially, and I'm sure Notre Dame fans feel the same way, especially all the criticism that this team got when they named him the starter, and they've shown some life deep. The deep ball has been something that was missing for multiple seasons now for Notre Dame. And right now, Cohen has been able to deliver a few times deep, which helps open up the offense a bit and keeps defenses honest, and they're not looking for more of those intermediate to short routes. Now, 830 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, only 2 turnovers in the first 3 games, while completing over 63% of his passes. That's a pretty great mark this early in the season. And, Cohen has thrown 3 touchdowns deep down the field that traveled over 20 yards down the field. That was not something Ian Book was consistent at. And Cohen has shown that he is not afraid to take a deep shot here or there. And they're going to have to try to take some of those shots, but they have to be smart with it, because that's why I picked the running game to be key. If you watch this team, the play action sets Cohen up so perfectly for what he likes to do in his skill set. And the wide receiving spot still a bit of a concern for me for Notre Dame. So if you get that play action established, it allows those wide receivers to get one-on-one matchups and get more favorable coverage matchups down the field. And when you look at Notre Dame's play breakdown, they've only run play action on about 25% of their plays this year, but I expect that to change in this matchup, because I was looking at Pro Football Focus's college grades, and they grade Cohen one of the best quarterbacks in the play action. He has above a 90 grade, which is one of the best grades in the country in play action offense, 200 yards and a touchdown with no turnovers off of play action concepts. If they can establish the run, get Cohen high percentage throws, keep the defense off balance, and find ways to establish drives, this Notre Dame team is going to be in a great position to escape this game with a huge win. Now, on the flip side, the key for Wisconsin is the same thing. This game is going to be a slugfest between 2 great defenses and some offenses that have some holes. So the team that's able to run the ball, control the clock, set their pace of the game and be in control of everything is going to win this game. And for the Badgers, it's different, because Kyron Williams was really the only, for me, proven option for Notre Dame. The Badgers, though, I think have 3 running backs that have flashed potential either last year or this year that they can be running back 1. And I expect this game to see a nice rotation of running backs to keep the defense off balance, and 2, try to keep fresh bodies in as you try to wear down this front 7 of Notre Dame. Now, Chez Mellusi has been the guy thus far for the Badgers. He has been explosive, consistent, and he has by far established himself as the number 1 option for Wisconsin. 265 on the ground, averaging over 5 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns already. But I want you guys to watch out for Berger, and also I believe it's Guriendo as the other back. Both of these guys have shown flashes. Both of these guys just have to find their rhythm and be a bit more consistent. And when they're called on, they have to go out and make a play or 2. They've combined for also over 200 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in the first 2 games of the season. So I want to see how the carries are divided. I expect, for me, I expect Mellusi to get the number 1 carry, and then Guriendo and Berger kind of share the leftovers as they're trying to keep them fresh. But the Notre Dame defense has really struggled to stop the run, and that's why it has to be key. The Badgers have a great opportunity to capitalize with this amazing offensive line with 3 running backs that can go create their own plays and take advantage of this. Notre Dame's defense ranked 75th in the country in yards per carry allowed this season. If they can take advantage of that, Notre Dame is going to have a tough time keeping Wisconsin off the field, and they're going to have a tough time, keeping their defense fresh down the stretch, and that is going to play perfectly into the Badgers' hands. And I've mentioned the play action game for Cohen. The main reason the running game is the key for Wisconsin is because right now the passing game has been atrocious this year. It's been one of the worst in the country, most inefficient in the country, and Graham Mertz has to live up to his potential finally. For me, he is someone who has absolutely underperformed what he was supposed to coming into Wisconsin. He's thrown for over 300 yards, but he has yet to throw a touchdown pass and has already thrown 2 picks, which proved to be costly. Now, the biggest stat for me, this is so concerning, and this is going to really hurt them against Notre Dame. Mertz has yet to complete a pass beyond 20 yards down the field and has only completed 7 passes past the 10-yard mark. That cannot happen. This Notre Dame defense with Kyle Hamilton and those safeties are going to be down in the box, and they're going to make you throw, and you have to be able to make a throw here or there. The other key for Wisconsin that, it's real simple. Can Mertz make the 1 to 2 throws in this game to win the game? Because I think they can establish the running game, and I think they have a lot of talent on the offensive line. Their defense is going to hold Notre Dame to a low point total. Is Mertz going to be able to make a throw in the key moments to win the game? If he's not and he turns the ball over, Wisconsin's going to have a tough time winning this game. And I mentioned the offensive line. The number one thing they have to do is protect Mertz. Notre Dame cannot find a way to get to Mertz because he's only completing 35% of his passes for 18 yards and an interception when under pressure. If Notre Dame can consistently get Mertz uncomfortable and get in his face and find ways to get sacks and make him feel uncomfortable, Wisconsin is going to really struggle in this matchup. So that's another key as well for Wisconsin. Now, for the matchup to watch, I've really debated on this one. I think there's probably 2 or 3 positional battles that I could have went with. But for me, the matchup to watch has to be this revamped Notre Dame offensive line against the front 7 for Wisconsin. 1, because the offensive line has to pay rushing lanes for Kyron Williams. And 2, you want to protect Cohen. That way he can make plays down the field against this Wisconsin team. But then also the front 7 is probably the strength of this Badgers defense. So, I want to get to one huge development. As I'm recording, Leo Chanel is coming back, who was the leader in sacks for the Badgers last year and was the number 2 tackler on the team. So now him and Jack Sanborn are going to form one of the most experienced and feared linebacking duos in the country. And Notre Dame is going to really have to deal with them and try to figure out what they can do to slow up this front 7, because they're going to be flying around, getting in the backfield and making plays all across the field. Sanborn right now leads the Badgers in tackles right now and is one of the highest rated linebackers in the country with a 90.7 overall defensive grade by Pro Football Focus. And I want to get to the D-line. This is going to be the key. The linebacker production is going to be there, but can Nick Herbig and Keanu Benton on this defensive line go out and make enough plays against this Notre Dame offensive line to get to Cohen and slow down Kyron Williams? Noah Burks and Isaiah Mullins are also 2 names to watch for the Badgers, but these guys have to be stout against the run, and they have to find a way to get Cohen uncomfortable, make that internal clock tick, and get him uncomfortable in the pocket, because the number one thing you can't do, and Florida State showed you this for 3 quarters, if you let Cohen stand in the pocket and he feels good, he's going to absolutely tear you apart. So make him uncomfortable, get him off his spot, and make him go make plays when he's really out of his comfort zone. That's going to be a key. Now, the Notre Dame offensive line replaced 4 starters from last season, and right now the left tackle spot is all up in the air. We've seen Tosh Baker, we've seen Michael Kermati all take snaps at that left tackle spot. So that I don't know who, as of right now, who is going to get the start right this second, because we're recording on a Monday night, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. But Jared Patterson has been lights out on the offensive line, but Kane Madden and Josh Lugg have to be more consistent this weekend. They've had multiple breaks in terms of pass blocking and run blocking. The Fighting Irish have given up 14 sacks this season in only 3 games and over 21 pressures. And this is by far going to be the best front seven that Notre Dame has seen all season. So the offensive line has to play their best game. And in this matchup, you know, Jim Leonard is one of the best defensive minds in the country. I expect Wisconsin to show so many different fronts on that defensive for defense. They're going to run a lot. They're going to run a lot of stunts. They're going to try to isolate one-on-one matchups with the offensive linemen that they pick out that they think they can beat. And if they isolate those one-on-one matchups and Wisconsin wins them, it's going to be a problem for Notre Dame and Jack Cohen in this offense. So Notre Dame has to make sure they communicate. They have to find ways to limit the pressure on Cohen if they expect to win this game. Now, for the official prediction, man, the line right now, as I'm recording, is Wisconsin 5.5-point favorites. And I don't, man, it's good. That's such a hard line. I hate those lines that are like right in between like a touchdown, because it's like, man, it's so hard to hit that 5.5-point mark. Right now, I think it's going to be a very close game all game, and I think it's going to come down to a late touchdown, something like that. I think these teams are very evenly matched. I think their strengths are very similar, with defense being the strength, strong running games, and questions at quarterback. So I think it's going to go back and forth. I just have a bit more faith in the Wisconsin offensive line and that three-headed monster at running back compared to Kyron Williams and some inconsistency for that Notre Dame offensive line. The one thing, though, is if Kyle Hamilton and that Notre Dame secondary go off this weekend, Notre Dame could run away with this one. But right now, as we sit, I'm going to ride with the Badgers in a very close game. I think they score late to win this game. I got Wisconsin 23, Notre Dame 16 in Chicago and Soldier Field. So, a one-score win for the Badgers for me. So, guys, if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video right now, hit that thumbs up, man. Appreciate it. It helps me out. And also comment your score prediction. And on top of that, comment your thoughts on the game. Let me know where I went wrong. Let me know what you're thinking. And I want to hear y'all's opinions, man. Love for y'all to get interactive. But guys, like I said, if you're new, hit that subscribe button, like the video. But right now, I got the Badgers 23, the Fighting Irish 16 this weekend in Soldier Field, riding with the Badgers one last time. Every time I put the faith in the Badgers, they seem to let me down. So this could be kind of asking for trouble. But guys, appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back later this afternoon with another preview, and we got 3 a day dropping on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure to tune in. Also, look at our community page. We'll be announcing new videos. We'll be dropping the links, everything like that, in case you don't know where to find them. But guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in. But for right now, the Blue Bloods are out.